Inventory control by itself is not an allowable method for release detection. However, it is a critical part of detecting leaks or releases. If you own or operate a retail facility that sells fuel products to the public, you are required to perform inventory control in addition to any allowable method of release detection being utilized. In addition, inventory control can be directed by the TCEQ, especially at facilities with a suspected release. With inventory control, owners or operators take daily measurements of the UST contents and deliveries. Calculations are made by using the data to find out whether the tank is leaking by comparing the stick inventory or measured inventory with book inventory, the inventory their records say they should have. Anytime the difference between these two is significantly large, it is possible the underground storage tank is releasing product or has a leak. Each of the inventory control steps must be performed consistently as specified in the US EPA Doing Inventory Control Right, November 1993 document. The steps to performing inventory control include: Step 1. Measure the tank's contents. Step 2. Record the amount pumped. Step 3. Record fuel deliveries. Step 4. Calculate daily changes in inventory. Step 5. Calculate monthly changes in inventory. The measurements that you will be using to calculate the changes in inventory are stick inches, stick inventory, start and end, amount pumped, amount delivered, water in the tank, and book inventory. On a daily basis, the owner or operator must measure the contents of the underground storage tank if anyone removes or adds fuel on that day. To measure the tank's contents, the person taking a tank measurement can use either of the following: a gauge stick, a tank level monitor, either electronic or mechanical. Other equipment needed for performing inventory control includes water or fuel finding paste, inventory forms, tank charts, which are tables for converting the number of inches of liquid in your tanks to the number of gallons. Inventory control must include a monthly check on the water in your underground storage tanks to determine how much water is in the tanks. While you should expect to find small quantities of water in your tanks, you must remove it from the USTs as soon as you spot it because it can interfere with dispensing fuel products. There are two types of water finding paste that operators and/or staff can put on the bottom of the gauge stick to check for water: for conventional fuels or ethanol blend fuels. Because the water has the potential to mix with ethanol, separate from the gasoline, and settle to the bottom of the tank, it is important to make sure the paste used is compatible with the product stored in the tank. If you use gauge sticks, they should be able to measure over the full range of the tank's height to the nearest 1/8 inch and neither be warped nor should their ends be cut off. Further, they should be made of materials like wood or other non-sparking materials. Record the amount pumped and fuel deliveries. After taking measurements, these are recorded onto daily inventory worksheets. Utilize a daily inventory worksheet, equivalent to the one found in Doing Inventory Control Right, US EPA. Additionally, operators must ensure on a daily operational basis someone records the inventory volume measurements of the regulated substances for inputs, withdrawals, and any leftover amounts in the tank. After taking measurements, they must record them, making any necessary changes to the inventory records. Each time they receive a fuel delivery onto a UST, employees must check how much fuel has been delivered. First, measure the level of liquid product in the tank before delivery. Then, after the fuel has been delivered and the fuel level has had time to stabilize, take the liquid fuel levels once again. Anytime stored substances are dispensed from a UST, this must be metered and recorded at an accuracy of no more than 6 cubic inches for each 5 gallons of product that is withdrawn. Calculate changes in inventory. In this step of the inventory control, you must copy the measurements recorded onto the daily inventory worksheet to the monthly inventory record. To come up with the changes in inventory, owners and operators have to make calculation based on the data from the monthly inventory record. At the end of each month, owners and operators must calculate changes in monthly inventory to determine if there are differences between stick inventory and book inventory. Differences between these two will tell you that you have a possible leak in your UST. Measurements important for the step of inventory control are the amounts for daily gallons pumped, daily over short, total monthly gallons pumped, total monthly gallons over or short. This calculation to determine the changes in monthly inventory is called the math test. The math test helps owners and/or operators to determine the maximum change in inventory that federal regulations allow. The formula for the math test is total gallons pumped times 1% plus 130 gallons equals a leak check. If the total gallons over or short is larger than the leak check for 2 months in a row, then your tank may be leaking, in which case you must report to the TCEQ within 24 hours that you have a leak and/or a suspected release of fuel products from your UST.